Did we do it? Let's go. Let's go. Are we going to get some credits, though? That would be nice. Yeah, let's go. All right. Holy hell. All right, first things first. The bottom center of the screen says that we have beaten 52 games in 2024 and 499 since we started doing this in 2020. Those numbers need to be updated. We've now beaten 53 games in 2024 and 500 since we started doing this in 2020. What a great 500th game. All right, let's talk about the ups and downs of the Obra Dinn, shall we? I'm going to turn this down a little bit. Let me start off by saying that I didn't give a lot of thought while I was playing this game to how I would rank it, which is almost always a good thing because it means I'm so tied up with the game that I haven't really thought about anything outside of it, and that was absolutely the case. That was absolutely the case with this game. It is so engrossing, and immersive is not quite the right word, but it is so involved that it is definitely, it's one of the few games that, like, when I wasn't playing, I had a hard time not thinking about like, when I wasn't playing, I was thinking, like as I'm going to bed, I'm like, okay, so what am I going to do tomorrow first? I got to figure out what's up with that last midshipman. Like, there was a lot of that thought in between playing sessions. I don't usually do that. I think about a lot of things gaming, but as far as, like, specifics on, like, that kind of thing, I don't think a lot about that. I think a lot about, like, where am I going to rank this game? How much do I like it? But as far as, like, those kinds of logistics, I mean, I was in it. So I was really, really involved with this game. And I did say something about 3/4 of the way through when I was playing that still rings true, in that this game reminds me of a handful of other games, and those games aren't anything like this game. Well, first of all, let's start off by saying this. What genre is this game? I've never played anything like it. It defies classification, really. It is a narrative puzzle exploration game. So when I think of that genre, I think of The Outer Wilds is the first thing I think of. And it really is a lot like that in a way. There are some very big differences, but as far as, like, trying to piece together the mystery, definitely big time Outer Wilds vibes. And Outer Wilds is one of my very favorite games of all time. So that is not a bad thing. It also made me think strangely of games like Getting Over It and Jump King. Those are tests of dexterity. This is more of a mental exercise. But it still reminded me of those games because it just throws you in with very little info and you just gotta figure your way out. And then this is not a game that you would be challenged playing a second time. And that's true with The Outer Wilds. That's true with Jump King and Getting Over It. Those games, once you've beaten them, you have figured the game out. Like, the speed runs on this game must be insane. Well, I don't even know what they would look like. But, like, there's no challenge to this game the second time around. If you go and play Elden Ring a second time, it's not like you're not going to be challenged, right? It might be easier, but this game it's all about the figuring out. And Getting Over It's kind of that way too, because, like, it took me 50 hours probably to beat that game the first time. If I went and again and played that game now, I bet I could beat it in an hour and a half. Maybe. Tops. And this game kind of feels that way because it's really all about the figuring out how to play. Jump King's kind of like that too. The last thing that this game reminded me of is Sudoku. Just the Sudoku puzzle, because it's very much one of those things where it's like, okay, mark the ones that you know first, and then work on the easier ones. And there's this, the bottom right corner. I don't know. I have no idea what I'm going to do with that. There's nothing filled out over there. But once I fill out all this other stuff, then that last corner will start to make sense. And there in the queue, and I wanted to write down maybes in this game. That's something that could be an improvement. If you could write down maybes in this game, if I could figure out a way to do that, that would have been nice. Like Sudoku, it's like, this is either an 8 or a 9. You know, I would have been nice if I could do that. But it definitely, either way, it's whatever part of your brain that satisfies to play Sudoku is the same part of your brain with this. It's definitely like all right, let's get the low-hanging fruit first, and then we'll start with the least complicated and go back down. And I love Sudoku, or I used to. I don't really play it anymore, but I love the idea of it. And this is a really interesting way to do that kind of a puzzle. And it was really cool. I do have a couple of critiques. One is, we just talked about, I wish there was a way to put maybes in. Like, this person is one of these, they have like unknown midshipman, unknown top man, but I would like it to go a little bit further and be like, I know this is one of these 3 people. It might be hard in the UI to make that work, but if there was a way that this guy, and this is a one-man show, I think, Lucas Pope, if he could have made that work, that would have been cool. If he ever makes another game like this, I would like that. The other one, and the big one, and I get it better, I understand it better now, but I still think it could be executed better. This game has a way of rushing you along, and I don't like to be rushed when I'm trying to figure things out. There is that thing that happens when you're in a scene. It's like clockwork, about 45 seconds or so passes and before the scene closes. And then the next thing happens. It either opens up a door so we can go somewhere else, or it gives you access to another corpse that you can explore their scenario. But you don't have any control over that action. So there were a lot of times when I was like, okay, I'm ready. Like, I know everything I need to know here, or I can't, or there's no way to know anything here. So I'd like to just move on. You can't hurry that action, but you also can't delay it. And there were times it's like, I just want to look and click on everybody. And then when it would rush you out of that, if 45 seconds wasn't enough for me, I'm guessing, I don't know exactly how long it is. It felt like about 45 seconds. It might have been 30. And then immediately, sometimes, it would take you to the next body where you have to click, you have to at least go to the body. It throws you out of the memory. And so at that point, you're standing over the next body. So you have to go walk all the way back over to the other body, click on that if you can remember where it is. I didn't like that process. It was confusing. I don't understand why it was built like that. I understand that they're trying to tell me that there's a smarter way to play this game, that you really ought to just keep moving along. But I want to play it my way. I want to look at and click on every person and look and have access to the book during that time so that I can put it all together in my own time. And sometimes that felt like the game was rushing me, and sometimes it felt like the game couldn't move fast enough. So it just depends on the situation. And I really didn't like that. I don't like the way the game is formatted in that way. However, those 2 complaints are the only complaints that I can think of. And really, in the grand scheme of things, those are quite nitpicky. The ultimate takeaway is that this game is incredible. I love games that I can't quite put into a genre because they're always entirely unique. Because if they weren't entirely unique, they'd have a genre, or at least a subgenre. I'm surprised. This game is 6 years old. I'm surprised there hasn't been another one like it, a copycat. I mean, if there's a game, I know a lot of people love this game, so why hasn't anyone tried to do this in another way yet? Maybe people are working on it. I don't know. Like, there needs to be more games like this for sure. Like, this should be a subgenre. But I love games that defy genre like that, because that means that they have just made a completely unique experience. And that's what this is. It is a completely unique experience. And it scratches that very satisfying puzzle solving itch, like kind of like a Sudoku puzzle or a crossword puzzle. We haven't even talked about the art style and the music, which are amazing. The art style, it could not have been better. I was a little skeptical for about 5 minutes when it first came up. I was like, what is this? But it almost immediately I started to like it, and now I freaking love it. And this is a little, the art style here is a little ahead of it's a little before my time. This is like late 80s PC days, mid to late 80s. I didn't really start playing on PC until the early to mid even 90s. So this whole Macintosh art style, well, that's not true. We had a computer lab when I was in first grade that had like a lot of Apple IIs in it. So I guess this could have been like one of those, but I never played anything like this. But anyway, the art style is incredible. The music is even better. The music is so perfect for to match it defines the tone of the game so very well. I really, really love the art style and the music. The fact that a single person was able to put something like this together is absolutely phenomenal. I will never do anything in my life that's as cool as this. To be able to put something like this together, I don't know how long it took him, but it is incredibly impressive, and this man deserves all the money and praise that he could possibly get. I don't know what else he's working on. I looked up his website page or something, and most of his other games are like itch.io 10-minute games or something. I think he had Papers, Please. He did Papers, Please, which I played 2 or 3 years ago, and I love that. I didn't know at the time that this was the same guy, but that's another game that really defies genre. So this guy's got some great ideas. I hope he can come up with some more, because this was an incredible experience. All in all, this game is gonna rank very high because it's such a singular experience. I'm never gonna forget this game in my entire life. Is it gonna rank as high as Outer Wilds? No, but that's like number 5 all time. But it's gonna be up there somewhere. I don't know exactly where, but this is a top 50 game, I think. And that is God tier. This is a God tier game. I'm really, really glad that I finally played it. I enjoyed it so much more than I was afraid. I was afraid I was going to hate this game, honestly. I was afraid that it was going to be one of those games that like The Outer Wilds is one of my favorite games ever, but that could have gone so horribly wrong because that's a game that like doesn't hold your hand either. And I'm not very patient. And I tend to, one of the things that I talk about a lot, which is important to me when I'm trying to beat a game, is called a clear path to victory. When it's unclear how to proceed in a video game, I usually quit, because whatever the how long to beat time on a game is, that inflates it terribly because it doesn't take that into account, that you might just get stuck and get completely lost and have no idea what to do. In most games, there's a quest line, there's a mission list, there's a waypoint, there's a mission marker. You know where to go, at least. It might be hard, but you know what you have to do. Games like this, that's not necessarily true. So I was worried that I wasn't going to get through this game. And I'm so glad that I finally played it and I stuck with it. There were a couple of times I was a little worried, but it never lasted for too long. The game does a good job of giving you enough information that you never really get. Or at least I never really got to a point where it was like, I have no idea what to do. That never really happened. There was always something that I could look at. All right, I'm going to shut up, but because I know this has gone on for a long time, but that was an incredible game, and I'm really, really glad that I played it. Okay. Last order of business. Return of the Obra Dinn. What a phenomenal experience this has been. But we are now going to delete you from our console and never play you again. Bye. Thank you. Much appreciated. You're the best.